Well, welcome along to Hive Live Extra, where alongside me I'm joined by Watford Club legend Tommy Mooney to look back on today's 1-0 defeat at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A Son Heung-min strike on the stroke of half-time. Tommy, disappointed to lose, but I imagine there's some positive to take in the manner of that performance.
I think it was almost 90 minutes where they only needed to step it up a little bit more, and you thought they could get a goal and get back in the game. I don't think Tottenham were that impressive. They were clinical with the free kick, in the fact that it hit the target, and Daniel Bachmann, I think, perhaps misjudged the bounce. But other than that, they seemed comfortable at times. It was almost a slow-paced game, not really what we expected.
If you're Xisco Munoz and you're looking back at the tape of this game later next week, I imagine you'll be frustrated, won't you?
You will, and I suppose with the international break as well, he's got longer to look at the tape. So it'll be disappointing in that respect, but also, you have to sometimes look at the positives and say, if only we'd done a little bit more. It wasn't like they've well beaten us today. They were comfortable and they could have probably stepped it up a little bit if they had to. But the chances that they had never fell to Kane. The goal was perhaps fortunate, and that makes it a little bit even more disappointing.
And looking at those positives, certainly the first 10-15 minutes, the way Watford started the game, Dennis with space down the left, Sissoko found pockets on the edge of the area as well, and there were opportunities there. There
were, and Ismaïla Sarr looked dangerous down the right-hand side. Reguilón probably got away with an early yellow card, and then you want Sarr to keep going and the other players to keep giving him the ball, and it just never really happened that way. Dennis on the other side was quite sharp, but never really had any chances, and King was very, very quiet, struggled to deal with both centre-halves on his own. But it is a difficult role, that 9-1 in the Premier League. So, yeah, it's as much possession as we had. I don't think we really created too many clear-cut chances. And we talked pre-show about how clinical we need to be in front of goal. If we're not creating chances, that's perhaps a concern.
Is that the difference between Championship football and Premier League football? You have a bright 15 minutes, as Watford did at the start of today's game. But obviously, the quality in the Premier League is going to mean if you don't make the most of those opportunities, you are going to find yourself on the back foot at some stage.
You are, and the transition in possession is there's far more turnovers in the Championship. And you almost know that you're going to have 5-6 chances in a Championship game. In the Premier League, you don't. So hence why you have to be more clinical with the chances when they come along. Not creating them is perhaps the most disappointing thing from today's game, because I don't think Tottenham were at the best. Which sounds strange because they're top of the league and still haven't conceded a goal. But I think they were there for the taking today, and that's probably what Xisco will look back on and be so frustrated over.
A 1-0 defeat to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Then let's take a look back at today's game highlights.
A very warm welcome to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs have made a terrific start to the new season under new head coach Nuno Espirito Santo. His side have 2 wins from 2 in the league. They're yet to concede a Premier League goal, and they're through to the group stage of UEFA's new Europa Conference League. Today, they take on promoted Watford, who've won 1 and lost 1 so far. I'm Gary Taphouse. Alongside me is Tony Gale.
Although they lost their last game, they won their first game quite convincingly against Villa, and hopefully they'll be staying in the Premier League this season in what will be a long season for them.
That home victory would guarantee they go into the first international break of the season top of the table, and 2 points clear of the rest. But here come Watford at the other end. Could be a chance here as Sissoko lays it back, and there's a good block just in front of the goalkeeper. Dennis. Oh, that fall for Joshua King. Wouldn't come down for him. Sarr. Son will try again with the outswinger. Oh, he didn't get it away. Goalkeeper makes the save. Watford with a chance to break here with Emmanuel Dennis. Kutzka. Back to Dennis again. Sanchez trying to hold him up. Dennis wanting to take it on. Josh King. He won it back, having made the error. Son. Oh, it's a great ball from Son, and it's gone straight in. Spurs strike first through Son Heung-min, who marks his 200th Premier League appearance with the opening goal. Sissoko on familiar territory. Wants to go all the way here. Oh, a chance! And it's straight at the goalkeeper. For Dele Alli. For Son. And Son straight at Bachmann. Danger here. Harry Kane. And arriving is Dele Alli, who tried to find the bottom corner. Lucas Moura. Messina can't stay with him. Harry Kane! Ah! First time we've seen a short corner in this game. Reguilón. Kane! Oh, what a save!
There we go.
What a wonderful start for Nuno and for Tottenham. Son Heung-min with the only goal, a free kick which crept into the bottom corner in the first half. Full time, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Watford 0.
So a 1-0 defeat for Watford to Spurs this afternoon. Just focusing, Tommy, on the performance of goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann. I mean, he's going to have the spotlight on him for the Spurs goal, but outside of that, he had a pretty good game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He'd be disappointed with conceding what seems like a simple goal. But when you've got 8-9 bodies running in front of you, it's really takes a brave man to jump out and take that. I think looking back, he'd probably he would ideally like to take it before it bounces. But other than that, the other shots on target were comfortable for him. He made a very, very good save from Kane in the second half. So again, we go back to the disappointments of the day. Is Son and Kane is probably one of the best strike forces in the Premier League, and we've coped with them comfortably today. Probably because Tottenham weren't at full tilt, but nevertheless, you can only play against what's in front of you, and they're coped with that all over the pitch today.
Yeah, without a doubt. It is a step up, a sizable step up from the Championship to the Premier League. So just how much can everybody here at Watford take from that defensive performance, which on the whole was pretty solid?
It was, and I think everybody's in awe of the Premier League, but we see today it wasn't a full strength Watford side. They weren't at full capacity all the way through like they were against Aston Villa. And they almost got back into the game with putting balls into the box at the end. I think they just need to that extra 5-6%, whatever it is, and have a little bit of a belief in the forward players creating opportunities. That's what we need to work on over this international break, and that's going to be the most important thing to keep us in the division. We've got to score goals.
And as you just touched upon as well, there was that one sensational save by Bachmann late on to deny Harry Kane from pretty much point-blank range. OK, let's get pitch side then and get some reaction to today's defeat.
Francisco, a narrow defeat at Tottenham today. How do you sum up the performance?
Buenas tardes. Sí, la verdad que perdimos 1-0. Yo creo que nos merecíamos mucho más de lo que conseguimos. Hicimos un buen partido. Se definió por una pelota parada. Y yo creo que partido a partido vamos a ir mejorando y vamos a ir consiguiendo más cosas.
You were very much in the game up until the goal. How disappointing was it to go in behind at half-time?
Sí, estamos haciendo un muy buen partido. Es difícil cuando te hacen el gol faltando muy pocos minutos para ir al descanso. Pero yo igual creo que seguimos con la cabeza alta y al mismo tiempo fuimos a buscar el resultado como fuese. No se dio, pero te digo, vuelvo a repetir, esto nos sirve como experiencia para mejorar el próximo partido.
On a personal note, how proud are you to have made your first Premier League appearance today?
Es un sueño siempre jugar en Premier League. Obviamente estoy orgulloso, pero me hubiese gustado que hubiese sido otro resultado. Pero hay que seguir, esto es largo aún y vamos partido a partido y yo creo que es importante.
To be up against a striker like Harry Kane in your first Premier League game, how did you find that experience?
La Premier es así, la Premier yo creo que todos los fines de semana te tocan jugadores muy fuertes, así que hay que estar preparado, hay que prepararse bien, que uno se duerme un segundo y te convierten, así que hay que seguir.
So a 2-week break from Premier League football now takes place with the international break on the horizon. Tommy, you mentioned it earlier. What does Xisco and this group do now? Because it is a slightly strange international break, isn't it? With obviously the pandemic restrictions, some players joining up with international teams, others won't be.
Well, I think he'll have more players at the training ground than initially he would have thought. So it's time to work on the structure of the team. We've said defensively, it seems to be working. So it's how you turn that structure into being an attacking threat. And there's only hours on the training ground that can do that. So I think that that's an advantage. I'd like to think that in 2 weeks' time when we come back, there'll be a little bit more cohesion between the attacking players. And again, we mentioned it so many times, but we've got to create opportunities, and you can only do that with hard work on the training ground.
And 3 games into this Premier League campaign, what do you think Xisco is going to take from it? Stuff obviously still to work on, but he will have seen plenty of cause for optimism as well.
Absolutely, and 3 very different games, because it was hugely positive and got at Aston Villa in the first game, disappointing at Brighton with individual errors. And then today, it was one of those games where you're almost there, just need to do a little bit more against the team that's at the top of the table as we stand now. So, yeah, I think there's an awful lot of positives for Xisco, and I know he loves working with the players on the training ground, and I'm sure he'll be doing that for many, many hours over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. All right, Tommy, thanks for joining us today on Hive Live. Appreciate your company as always. No Premier League football next week, but there will be a Hive Live special as well. So keep your eyes peeled across social media. The women are in action at 2 p.m. next Saturday afternoon. Watford take on Liverpool right here at Vicarage Road. And then in 2 weeks' time, Watford are back into Premier League action when Wolves are in town. They play against Watford here at Vicarage Road. Emma Saunders will be back for that one. But until then, thanks very much and goodbye.
Click here for more videos.